What is up, YouTube? Today we are going to be going over how to gank. A lot of you will be junglers. A lot of you will not be junglers, since in this meta, in the way Smite has evolved, everyone's ganking. It's not just junglers. It's not just supports. It's not just solo laners. Everyone's rotating around the map and everyone's ganking, right? So essentially, before we jump into that, I want to talk about my Patreon. I know I brought it up in another video. I'm going to keep mentioning it because it'd be really good for the community, and I kind of am super excited about bringing it back. The goal of my Patreon, it's not like a lot of these Patreons that are art and titties and whatever else. The idea of it is to give back to a lot of people that supports me already. So people who already donate to me on stream or support me in other whatever way, you have the opportunity to get something. You can get stickers that people don't have. You can get wristbands people don't have. You can get signed merch, clothing. It's not really merch. I don't call it merch. It's more clothing. You can get lessons, and all this stuff's intertwined. Everything builds on itself, so you get all of that if you want. But the overall goal is to make enough money that it is reasonable to keep up Smite Junkies, to keep it going. When it's up, I have someone build the site and do all the backend stuff, and then I personally do all the builds. If you don't know what Smite Junkies was, it is very simple. It's a build website for Smite that teaches you how to build, why to build, when to build. It doesn't just show you a bunch of pictures and say, build this, go ahead. It explains, these are your 6 items, and sometimes this isn't the item and this is the other item. You go, and here's why. Sometimes you get this item or you get this defensive item instead, and here's why. It teaches you how to build. It teaches you why to build it. It was very popular. It just wasn't profitable, which is why I'm going outside of trying to take like on-site donations or ads on the site to just have this Patreon be the thing that keeps the website up, makes it so I have time to put my own time in it. But so there is a reason and time for me to put into the site, and we can keep it up pretty much forever is the goal, at least as long as I know the top end of Smite and I know what to build, right? Okay, well, that's done. We're talked about it. Links below, right down there, top of the fucking description. Let's talk about how to gank, why to gank, when to gank, everything about ganking, right? You guys want to know, you guys want to learn. There's like 6 steps to a good gank, at least a well thought out gank. And it stems from knowing what to look for. What to look for being the first thing you're doing. You're not just running around the map. You're not just like, oh, my teammate's spamming gank, or this other teammate is saying he's better than the other player, or my ADC is crying to me because I don't know what to do. And this is in the views of a jungler. All this stuff completely applies to everyone else. You need to know what to look for. You're either looking for an advantage that your laner, your solo lane already has over their solo laner. Your mid lane already has over their mid laner. Meaning they've already got him low. They've got him to half health. They've got him to 60%. They've positioned properly. They've baited the other person in past the midway point in their lane. Those are things that your teammate can do for you. You can look at what you need to be looking at, what abilities are up or used. So regular abilities, ults, actives, all that stuff. Whatever's actually, sorry about that. Whatever's actually used, you need to keep track of. And that can be from your teammate relaying you information saying he just ulted, he just beads, he just uses leap, whatever. But usually it's on you to watch it, especially when you're in a ranked game, there's no comms. It's on you. So pay attention to the other team using leap, the other team using their wave clear, the other team using their stun. Very, very simple things to look for. Say you're ganking a duo lane, the other team's on her, and he throws out his pillar and his 2. He tries to stun combo your ADC, or he tries to just clear the wave and then get some space. So that way, you know the only thing he can do is leap away from you, and you can play based on that. You can go to the next step in the gank based on that information. So what to look for: advantages in the lane, abilities being down, actives being down, ultimates being down, and then just the last thing you need to look for is how you fare in that 1v1. In that, say you go to gank and your teammate for some reason does not help you. How can you play it to make sure your teammate has to do as little as possible to make sure that person dies? Or if you know your teammate's just not going to help because they don't know what they're doing, can you kill that person? Is it a waste of time for you to go over there because your person's going to leave? Your person's low health, your person has to back, whatever, your person's out of position. Those are what to look for, right? So, you know the first step If any of those things are there, if they're low health, their actives are down, you have an Awilix ult against the leap, those things, go for the gank. That's okay. Now we're thinking, let's go for this gank. We want to go for this gank. Step 1. Step 2 is how you are going to path to get to that position. Not really that difficult. You pretty much have one way of pathing, but this changes based on wards. You need to have your own wards up, because if you don't have your own wards, you're not going to see them warding. You're not going to see them rotating to you if you decide to gank, and you're not going to know what's going on the other side of the map, in the middle of the map, wherever you are. You're not going to know what's going on. So wards are really important to your pathing. On top of warding, you're looking at where, well, like I said, you know where they are. You should hopefully know where their wards are. You do not want to walk over those. And then your pathing is also going to be, will this person I'm ganking see me? Will someone else see me? So if I'm ganking the solo lane, you have a path right out of the mid lane. Someone's probably going to see you, right? If you path right out of the mid lane and head straight over to a certain spot. So essentially, if I'm ganking the solo lane, ideally, I'm going to want to go from back camps, because they're not really going to know where I am. It's very unlikely. You can also wait for the other team to leave the mid lane or to leave wherever you are, and then path to your desired gank spot. It's not really brain fucking surgery. It's not super difficult. It's really basic stuff. It just needs to be processing through your head when you're deciding to do this gank. It can't be, that person just ulted and uses beads, let me beeline for them. It's not always going to work out like that. Sometimes it will. You need to be able to recognize those times when you just have that pure advantage. That person is so far out of position that you can do that. But usually, if the person is high health, the person has some abilities up, there's still the potential for the other team to rotate. You need to know what way you're pathing, why you're pathing that way, how you can avoid the other team, and how you can avoid the person you're ganking from seeing you coming. Really, really simple information, really, really simple things to think about, but people kind of ignore those things, even though they are really valued for anyone trying to gank. Being stealthy, being almost secretive, like as to your position, where you are, is kind of the most important part to it, in my opinion. You can't get counter ganked if they don't know where you are. You can't get out rotated. You can't get baited in because they know you're coming and they're just going to use their abilities properly to kill you or bait you or put you out of position. So that leads into step 3. That's where to position. That's what we talked about, because that person's looking at it. You've talked about where you're pathing and where you're positioned on the map. Now we just talk about where you're positioned once you get into the gank. Once you've made it there, you've decided who to gank. You've decided what way you're walking to them, what way you're going to get there. And now you need to know where to position. You need to think about this ahead of time. This isn't something that every gank is going to be in the moment. Sometimes you'll get there, circumstances will change, abilities will get used differently right when you get there, but that's not something you can see ahead. So you need to play it out. You need to think, I'm Serket and I'm going to go over to this duo lane, right? I'm going to go up to this Rama. He has his ultimate and he has his rollout to get away from me. So if I cannot use any abilities, if I cannot miss anything until he rolls out, I have a much bigger advantage. So if I'm Serket, first of all, I'm going to, okay, this Rama used his beads, right? So, all right, they're there. I need to gank this Rama soon. How am I going to path there? I'm going to go from back harpies. I'm going to go up, and I'm going to go right through the gold fury because we have it warded, and I'm going to come around behind their purple buff, or beside their purple buff, right in front of their purple buff, however you want to look at it. And the Rama's been baited up. He's in the middle of the lane. Come up behind him. He sees me, though, right when I come in the lane. So he's going to decide right then, am I going to auto attack or am I going to roll out? A lot of the time, especially in lower level, that Rama's going to use his leap, his dash, or his roll, whatever. That other person's going to use his disengage. He's going to try to get the fuck away as fast as possible. So if you're Serket and your first thing to do is walk in and use your 2 and he rolls and you miss, a lot of your lockdown has just been wasted. So this Rama has rolled now. You held on to your 2 because you knew he was going to roll. Now you are at an extreme advantage because of your use of positioning and also your use of abilities. Both of those together at this point are going to be the reason you killed this Rama. You're going to use your 2 at that point because he has no escape other than his ult. He's probably going to beat. Now, you've positioned properly. You've gotten past that positioning in that specific gank. This is going to be unique in every gank, 100%. Sometimes it'll replay and you'll be able to think, this is how it worked last time, let me do it again. That'll happen occasionally, but usually it's a very unique situation. That's how Smite works. So now you got to think, how are you going to use your abilities in this moment? You've already waited to use your 2. You've baited out the roll. You can do this in multiple ways, by the way. Say that person doesn't react right away to rolling. Walk up and start autoing them. If they're fighting you back, that's going to give your hunter time to get there and help you fight, help you gank. It is going to slow down the gank a little bit. It's not going to be as quick, but it will work out and we'll get you the kill most of the time. So back to how we're going to use our abilities. Now we use our Serket, Rama beads. Wait for that beads to be almost over. Then Serket jump on his head, push him back into your hunter. You're automatically killing the person at that point unless you guys miss every single thing. Very unlikely. Say the Rama ult. You're okay to wait it out. His roll is going to come back up, position behind him, use your abilities, your rotation of them again, and you're good to go. This is going to be repetitive as a jungler. This is going to be repetitive as a hunter rotated to the mid lane, as a support going anywhere. You see these people use abilities. You see these people react to yourself ganking them, and you have to have it played out in your head how you're going to do this. Now, we've talked about what to look for, who you're going to gank, how you're going to get there, how you're going to position once you go into this engagement. How are you going to decide your stance in the lane, or how you're going to use your abilities in the lane? Now you got to get to, when do you gank? I get this question every single day in my stream. It's a very generic question, and you can have a generic answer, but it's going to be, once again, unique to every single Smite match you play in. And remember, this applies to more than Conquest. This is going to apply to Arena, Assault, whatever. The numbers might change, or the focus might change to target-wise, but it's the same situation, the same concept over and over again. Now, when are you doing this? If your speed buff's coming up, you should not be ganking the ADC lane. That's pretty simple, right? If the Gold Fury has been heavily warded by the other team and they're positioning on the Gold Fury side, you're probably not ganking the solo lane, because that one solo lane kill at that point in the game is not going to be valuable if the other team gets the Gold Fury, especially if the other team gets the Gold Fury and kills your team who are trying to steal the Gold Fury. Those are things you got to look for. You got to look for when buffs are coming up, what towers are being pushed or pressured, or lanes that the other team has advantage in. So say they're pushing your tier 1 tower in solo. Probably want to help out over there more than ganking the duo lane, right? Because that dude's out of position, unless he's huge. Or even the other way around. The hunter's sitting on your tower line. Probably want to go gank him more than going over to solo. So timing. If that person's at that point in time, he's over there, he's pushing that lane, you need to not be going the other way. If Fire Giant is the focus, you need to not be ganking the ADC lane. If the other team's speed buff is coming up, you should probably be going for a gank on the ADC, because that speed buff is up. You know that jungler is going to be there, especially this day and age. I've taught everybody enough that the speed buff is fucking life. You don't have speed buff, you're done. So you know every jungler is going to be sitting on that speed buff every single time. That's something you can think about. Oh, he's positioning over there. Oh, he's headed over into the solo side of the map. He's going for a speed. I'm going to go kill this ADC. Or, hey, let's all group up and go gank them at the speed buff. Ganks don't have to be in lanes. They can be in spots on the map. They can be on buffs. They can be on objectives. They can be on whatever you want. That's where timing is key. Pay attention to when shit is coming up on the map. Pay attention to what the focus is at that point in the game. If it's a 45-minute game, you probably want to be around Fire Giant, not ganking someone on the other side of the map. If it's a 15-minute game, you probably want to be focusing somewhere around the left side of the middle of the map, because they can go for Gold Fury, and that's a shit ton of gold. So timing is super, super, super important for you. So pay attention to that. We've talked about what to look for, where to path, where to position, when to use your abilities when you're positioning, when to do it was what we just covered. The last thing I really think of when I'm ganking is, how is the other team going to react, which we kind of just talked about in timing. If I gank the solo laner, is he going to kill me? Is he going to live long enough for the other team to rotate over? Do they have a Thor ult that's going to easily put him on my side of the map and kind of disrupt this whole gank and kill me? Are they going to rotate over and take the speed buff? Or sorry, the Gold Fury? Not speed buff, speed buff. You already got speed buff. Are they going to take the Gold Fury? Probably. So you don't want to do it. You have to think about all of this stuff in a matter of a few seconds. And if you can know how the enemy is going to react, you can also know literally down to a T how that person specifically is going to use their abilities. Is this Hercules going to wait for me to get close enough and then stun me? Is he going to pop his 3 right away, so I need to use my anti-healing? Is he going to ult to immune my CC? These things are what you have to think about, and you have to play around. If you know what that person is going to do, if you can think 2, 3, 4 steps ahead, think of it as like a chess match. If you know what this person is going to do and you can react beforehand to what that person is going to do, you automatically have the advantage. That's what a lot of the top players do. They go into a fight, they go into a gank, they go into an objective. They know what that other person is going to do. I go onto a speed buff, or say I go onto a Gold Fury. I know that that hunter is going to turn the corner and instantly use X ability. I know that this Raw just positioned in the mid harpies to try to snipe and steal that Gold Fury. So if I know that's going to happen, I can bait him to come in, and then I can instantly jump over. I can blink. I can fake like I was auto-attacking the Gold Fury, and I can go on that target because I pulled him out of position. These are things you have to do. And the farther in you can think, if you can think 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of that other person, you are instantly the better player. Whether you can hit every single ability or you only hit half of them, you're still going to be the better player because you can avoid things. You can pull your team into positions you want to. You can pull the other team out of position. And that is where a good player, a knowledgeable player, a person who knows how to gank, which is what this whole video is about. If that's someone who knows how to gank, those things all tie into one. Sure, there's little factors that change here and there. There's bad teammates that change this and that. Don't worry about your shitty teammates. Worry about yourself. Pay attention to what you could always do better. Pay attention to what you can look for, what knowledge you can gain, and what you aren't fully grasping. And as you start to realize these are the things I lack in, you'll become a better ganker. You'll become a better Smite player. You'll be able to play every position better. Hopefully this video helped you guys out a little bit. I know it's a little bit longer than I'd planned, 60 minutes, But remember, please hit the subscribe button. Please like the video. Let me know if you want some more stuff like this. Secrets.